About these gadgets, this is a primer-involved video. I can't do everything with them yet, however I guarantee you I will ultimately. So in my left hand here, this is the Expert Model 6.7 inches showcase. You can see they have this matte completion and this decent pale blue tone which they're calling narrows. It is accessible in various varieties too. Now clearly they're not indistinguishable in structure factor. We have the greater presentation. Clearly battery size will be different too. Stockpiling choices, there's a couple to browse. The super specialized contrast between the two is the camera division, since we are getting an additional camera on the Pixel 8 Ace, and obviously it is that 5x zoom that you're finding in this area here. What I like this year is that the standard Pixel 8 truly went a piece more modest for those that are searching for that outrageous transportability, that upgraded movability, and one gave usefulness and don't need a monster brick in their pocket. So choices are great here, and we have a greater qualification between the Ace and non-Ace, as opposed to having an excess of crossover where they're somewhat similar size and it's not exactly a tremendous distinction between the choices. Hazel on the Pixel 8 here is clearly in the lustrous completion, however at that point that sort of differences a smidgen with the bar that runs over holding the camera set up on the Pixel 8. That is a matte completion like a brushed look, while you get this chrome like gleaming completion to go with the matte completion of the rest of the telephone. So it's sort of a tad of both, just dispersed diversely. The equivalent goes for the edge of the gadget, which is cleaned and sparkling on the Ace model. It even has that little blue color to it to coordinate in with the fundamental body of the telephone. This is my most memorable look at the camera office. Yes, we have that periscope style ZO long range focal point 5x, which Google claims is further developed clearly on the most recent age. We've likewise got the most recent chip in both of these gadgets, the G3 forward looking camera in the focal point of the unit. SIM plate is on the Luhan side of the gadget. Type C on the base for speedy charging power, as well as a volume rocker and show unique mark sensor 6.7 in gadget. I'm exceptionally acquainted with it since I invested a lot of energy with the Pixel 7 Ace. Clearly these are marginally unique. Now the format on the bar segment has changed. Button design comparative anyway, somewhat unique. SIM plate in a similar area as is the Sort C connector. How about we move over to the Pixel 8? You understand what now I truly like this variety. This Hazel sort of has the chalk-like focus on it, that level dark which is so famous at this moment, and afterward the matte completion around different components, including the casing of the gadget here, aluminum edge, and it has the brushed hope to go with the polished back. Entirely agreeable structure factor. Now with this one, your pointer sort of rests right underneath the camera bar, giving you the truly safe hold, like it's truly laying on there. Unimaginable certainty and heaps of reach for one gave use. Clearly this is generally a difficult choice while bantering between the two. Now you get the additional camera, get an alternate battery size, you've clearly got a greater screen size too, assuming you go for the Ace model. Anyways, there's a solace and certainty with the more modest unit for in a hurry. One gave usefulness. It's somewhat of a shot in the dark. Let me in on in the remarks which one you'd be more inspired by, the Ace at 6.7 in or the non-Ace at 6.2. Now in the event that we carry our correlation with the 8 versus 7, you'll see these ones have changed a lot in structure element. So the 8 turned out to be more versatile, significantly more convenient, somewhat more limited for reachability, and the corners sort of got adjusted somewhat more. So something decent about having the bar on the rear of the gadget is you don't get that run of the mill tabletop wobble that you have with different gadgets that just have the camera module up in one corner. These rather have a decent satisfying point to them anyway, no wobble associated. Additionally, in the cell phone space, these camera units are a portion of the more particular, like numerous different makers are not exactly doing this and don't exactly have this plan language, so it truly serves to ID the telephone and give it an unmistakable character. Camera units here look very somewhat changed. The equivalent is valid for the 8 Ace versus 7 Ace. The aspect is incredibly close here, yet the curve of those corners is very marginally unique, only a tad nibbled more bended on the new model. Something truly fascinating that has been added to the 8 Ace is a thermometer that can be pointed at food that you're cooking or different articles to get a fast temperature. Perusing uncommon. It is strange yet for myself and here in the stuff I would utilize that reasonably habitually genuinely. Now obviously I got to check on the off chance that I can slap a later case on here. So we really do have Pixel 8 and Pixel 8 Ace. This has rapidly transformed into my number one variety. This one is called Espresso on the site, and it has this truly fine surface to it, unquestionably slight, and gives you an astounding measure of grasp, yet keeps all that as smoothed out as could really be expected, and as the organization expected when they endeavored to thin down the gadget. This one actually keeps up with its unmistakable look with this range of patterns. Pix 8 looking similarly is great. Truly, I think this casing here looks perfect with a Espresso shaded later instance. Obviously we have different varieties too. We have the ruby, there's the blue, there's the twofold dark, and afterward there's the exemplary with the Kevlar weave in the event that you need in incredibly slim and light areas of strength for yet. I enthusiastically suggest you look at later case through the connection in the portrayal so it's continuously energizing at whatever point. There's new Pixel gadgets delivered. I've been utilizing Pixel gadgets as well as Nexus gadgets before that. I've seriously loved the vanilla Android experience for quite a while, and furthermore gaining admittance to the most recent highlights inside the product and the most recent camera highlights when they're free. The Pixel 8 Ace is beginning at $9.99. The variety accessibility is the sound that I'm showing you here, but at the same time it will be accessible in porcelain and obsidian. Pixel 8 will begin at $699 accessible in the hazel you've seen me taking care of, and afterward it's likewise going to be out there in rose and obsidian like the 88 star, so I'm eager to get my SIM card into one of these. I'm as yet unsure however which one I will go with. I regularly go for the greater telephone. I clearly need to utilize the 5X, yet something doesn't add up about this hazel Pixel 8 that is addressing me. You all can assist me with choosing with your vote which one you feel that I ought to utilize and why. Yet I'm most certainly going to pop a SIM in and bring some subsequent substance after somewhat more use. Yet recall whether you need to get one free yourself. Most certainly save that $50. Look at the depiction, and furthermore notice that since this is a YouTube shopping cooperation, there's truly connections and extraordinary elements on the video overlay itself. In the event that you click those mixes, you'll truly see the items addressed right on the video. Feel free to look at those elements and